This episode of the SWTOR Escape podcast is brought to you by the Behind the Games podcast on newoverlords.com and on YouTube/New Overlords. New episode this week is an awesome interview with Hector Padilla, a people manager at IO Interactive. They're the company that makes the Hitman series. They've got a new project which is based on 007 and that licensing. So we talk about those two games and the excellent way they run their studio at IOI, which is really amazing. If you like Behind the Games and you like the SWTOR Escape podcast, we hope you'll subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever else you might get those podcasts, especially that new one. We're looking to try to build that up. Okay, it's SWTOR time. Let's do this. We have a player-made guild event coming up next week that uses the macro binoculars and the seeker droids. Really amazing event that BC in our guild has designed for us. You may have forgotten about them or never had the chance to even start those missions, and either way, we're going to talk about them so we all know where they're at again. We're going to talk about that and more on this episode of the SWTOR Escape podcast from newoverlords.com. Our broadcast estimate today is EPC 430. And with me is my co-host, Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hello, Max. Going pretty well. This week in SWTOR, I've been doing a lot of, well, I know you've been doing this too because we talked about it, reputation math. Because I've been trying to figure out if I have enough tokens to finish off the Shadow Syndicate rep, or if I can just give up on it because I will never get enough. Sadly, it looks like I can get enough, so I'll probably be doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm undecided how I'm going to do it. I might go back to doing it just the little ones every day for the conquest points, since I'm never going to finish it. I won't be able to finish it for the achievement, which we've talked about that before. So, yep, I've been doing that, and normal guild activities, MFN. Our ops team tonight, we had just a chat session because we had a few people out, and we could have run a flashpoint, but instead we hung out in Discord and talked about various things.
Lots of things.
And while we were doing that, I went to Coruscant and killed 150 Black Sun gangsters. Because that's a Galactic Seasons achievement. Thing for this target for this week. So hey, I'm off to the races for that. And this is, by the way, this is the last week for Galactic Seasons 2.
You also did another Galactic Seasons objective, and who was the guy? Who was the guy that you had to kill?
Oh, Jimmy Weasel.
Jimmy Weasel. You know that famous Star Wars character, Jimmy Weasel. What is up with that? That is an awesome name. I love it, but I've never heard of a Star Wars character named Jimmy Weasel.
Yep. Yeah, so he's on Corellia. And then I went to get the other person, and because I'm dumb, I forgot to check whether it was the Republic target or the Imp target, and I went through this maze of Corellian buildings and streets and everywhere to get to this place because I had a map, right?
Well, I did that 2 out of 4 times last time, and that's super dumb because fool me once, shame on you. Fool me a second time, I'm the Weasel.
Yes. So anyway, that's my plan this week. I'm going to get like 4 or 5 or 6 Galactic Seasons done just to get like a little supply of the tokens because this is the last week for it.
Yep.
So how's your week been going, Max?
It's been going well. Thank you for asking. I also did the math. In fact, I have a whole spreadsheet.
Of course you do.
Because I had tokens spread across 5 different characters, a bunch of tokens, over 300, like 350. I'm also just into champion, so I still needed like 29,000 reputation points. So I did all of the math of here's all the tokens I currently have. Here's all the tokens I could possibly get this week. And here's all the tokens that I have not yet collected out of the Galactic Season track. So that's a pro tip for any of you out there. If you've not collected those out of the subscriber track in the Galactic Season track, there's 100 of the syndicate plans in that track. So I did all of the math, and at the baseline with the bonuses that I currently have, It's mathematically impossible for me to even get to legendary by getting enough syndicate plans this week. There is a chance, and I haven't finished the math on this, and I think I'm just not even going to bother. We do get from the daily login rewards a couple of these special tokens, which are a reputation boost. And it's 15. You get 15 for 24 hours, real world hour. No, logged in hours. 24 logged in hours? Yeah, I guess it's logged in hours because I have a character that's had it for a couple weeks now. And 15 turn-ins, you get an extra boost to reputation for that turn-in. So if I got the max 200 syndicate plans this week and got all of the rep tokens I could buy with that and buy with the 100 plans that I can get out of Galactic Seasons and turned in the biggest tokens I could with those bonuses running, I probably would be able to make legendary. But I don't know if I'm going to do it because without doing it, we have the 15% guild perk. We have the 60%. In fact, it's
And
not
the subscriber perk.
the subscriber perk is to be clear, and here
All
it is.
figured in.
And here it is on the screen. Did I not have it up on the screen? There we go. Is it up on the screen? Here's the subscriber perk. To be clear, you might think that it's a 50% bonus. It's not. It's a plus 60.0000381467, repeating, of course, percent. I don't know what they're saying there. Why? Because that's not even 50%. The subscriber bonus is a 50% bonus. So why is that as saying 60.00000381? And then we have the 15% bonus on top of it. I figured all of that into the baseline. It's just the extra bonus from that reputation item that you can get from the daily logins.
We're gonna start a reputation theory crafting Discord.
Yeah. Well, I have the old spreadsheet that showed the best way to cap reputation. Well, and I updated it for the 5,000 limit this time around. But if I don't do that and if I don't have to grind out 200 syndicate plans and I don't get legendary, because who knows, maybe they're going to zero it out and put it into feat of strength or something anyway.
I mean, that's
then I've got a free weekend. And then
that's
I
the
can do what I want.
I'm reluctant to stand on my head to achieve anything when, it could be just zeroed out tomorrow.
Right. So I don't know. There's a chance I could end up bothering to grind it out, but there's also a chance I might not bother. Because then I can just do what I want. I can just fly some GSF for fun and not have to worry about the objectives and the rewards and things like that.
My plan isn't to get 200, it's just to get 5 or 6 Galactic Season targets done. And then I'll have a bunch of tokens throughout the year that I can use to get the reputation advanced conquest target and turn into credits.
And I have, as you said, I have over 340 of those sitting in inventory across 5 characters. I have enough to turn in 5 a week for conquest every week for the next year.
Or 7.
Can you do it on a character twice in a week? Yeah, I guess you can. So it'd be 340 days. So I could. So we'll see. You know what we'll also see? We'll see what's up in the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
First up in the news, Star Wars Celebration is coming to London in 2023, in April of 2023, and tickets are on sale. So Zen, is Zen in the chat room tonight? Zen was sending me notes saying, hey, tickets are on sale. I'm going to try to get tickets. Zen going and trying to get tickets makes me really, really want to get tickets, but I'm probably not going to. It's a little far for me to go to London, for one.
I mean, but it's not as far as it is for him.
No, it is not. He's coming from Australia. But for 2, that's also far off. That's April of next year. I don't. to commit to going to London in April of next year at this point, in my mental state is a really tough sell. If things get really crazy, maybe I'll try to find some tickets at the last minute if I could work a trip out. In February of next year, when we're only 2 months away and I can see what's going on. But I'm not doing it now. But if you are interested, or if you are in that area, or you can make it out to London, tickets are on sale. It's something you could do. What else we got? SEMA.
On the PTS, they have made some tweaks to the first fight of the R4 anomaly operation, which is the IP, the big robot, which is the one we've been playing with.
How
Or
often
we
can you
did
do
play with
that?
last week.
That robot. SEMA?
Oh my God. I
Daily?
think you can do
You
it.
saying
Yes, you can probably do it
do
daily,
you have to get the
max.
IP daily? I
Yes.
think you do. I can bring it.
Um, and they also made the dog easier as well. I don't know how much though, because I'm actually curious to see. We were actually working our way towards getting that first boss down, so maybe our data contributed to them nerfing that.
You didn't you didn't read what I put there either. They made Updog easier.
I did not read that. You're
And then
right.
you're supposed to say,
In the future, you should give these items to yourself.
"What's up, dog?" And then I say, "Not much. What's up with you?" So I just did it with myself anyway.
I was supposed to say, "What's up,
Please
dog?"
allow myself to set myself up and knock down my own jokes. So yeah, I'm glad they
Hey,
made
Max.
the
What's
yes.
but if I read up dog easier than you say what's up dog, it still
No,
doesn't
you're
work.
supposed to say up dog easier. What's up dog?
Oh,
I-
but I would never do that.
no, you would not.
If I did, if I didn't know, I would ask you before the show.
Because you actually
So
have a brain
that was
and
doomed to
don't
failure.
fall into these Jedi Sith mind tricks, these lies. But yeah, the IP droid was kind of hard. It was kind of difficult to get through that fight, even in 340 gear. So I don't mind that it got a little bit easier. It seems like they took, if you look across these notes, and if you look at this notes page, and it's up here, this is the post that Jackie continues to update. And when it gets updated, it will say new next to the things that were updated most recently. So look for the ones that say new, and this is where they'll say what's been going on in the different modes. And it looks like they're just tweaking some of the difficulty right now. That's the key thing that's going on. So I bet we're trending towards a point where this is going to be ready for release relatively soon. And a couple of the trends I'm seeing is story mode. Things are getting a little bit easier. Uh, the veteran modes, things are getting a little bit harder. I hope they don't make veteran mode too much harder though, because I would also like a smoother progression from story to veteran to master. I don't mind master being impossible for all but the best, but I would like veteran to be probable for any reasonable team, and story mode should be probable for any random team anywhere that has never seen the mechanics. That's the way I
Right.
think the mechanics,
Right.
the difficulty should go.
I feel like
And they're
that's how
not.
they've sort of set it up to be, and they're kind of straying from that now.
They kind of are. I mean, you take an operation like Duxon, and Duxon in story mode, it it's kind of difficult to get through. Some of these are kind of long to get through. I would love for it to be a real cakewalk in story mode, so that we could do it with brand new people that have never seen the fights before, and we could take anyone in there and we would be successful for first time through with a group of noobs. That would be great. And then veteran mode, make veteran mode solid,
Right.
and
If
then
and
make
like
master
Starry
mode hard.
Saber's pointing out in chat, it's like not only noobs, but noobs in 320 gear.
Noobs in 320 gear that may not be on voice. That's also
Right.
key. You look at a couple of these fights in this place, and the coordination necessary, like for Updog, is pretty intense. And trying to make that coordination work when you're not in voice is going to be a challenge. We'll see how that works out for them.
If the goal is different, right? Like it used to be, the goal was, I think, for everyone to have a chance to see the story mode thing. If that's not the goal anymore, then okay.
Right. Sure. Sure. If that's
If
no
the
longer the
goal,
goal, then that's not the goal.
yeah, right,
Then maybe also let us know so our expectations
yeah.
are in
Yeah,
line with what you're
that
putting
was
out.
my unspoken point there. But yeah,
Yes.
and like I've said before, I kind of wish they had maybe 4 levels of difficulty if they want it, rather than having this big gap between story and veteran.
So,
Have like story, normal, veteran,
right.
nightmare.
Right. Yeah. Maybe add a fourth
And then
difficulty.
normal could have all the mechanics, but
Sure.
but it's still easier than veteran because it's got less health or it hits not as hard or whatever. And then story could have some of the mechanics missing
Right. Right.
instead of what they had to do early on, which was take mechanics out of story mode, and
Right.
then they don't show up until veteran mode.
Yeah. I think that would be a way to go. And then you would guarantee that you could get those kind of groups that aren't on voice, have never seen the fights before, but they can just go in there and then have a good time and see the story and wallow in the story and not have to worry about
Okay,
wiping all night.
326. Machete's saying it's at least 326. I
Well,
I,
okay,
I
it's
could go with that.
326
Yeah,
for R4, sure. I would go
yeah,
for that so that there's a progression. I'm okay with a progression as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah,
But even there,
yeah.
keep in mind for a story mode, you're going to get people that are brand new to the game coming in, and they're going to say, "Hey, I'm brand new. I just leveled up to 80. I see you got an opening on your ops team, and you guys are what are you doing this? I don't know what this R4 is, but I'd love to join." And you go, "No, you need to go somewhere now and go grind out, 326 gear before you can, because you won't survive in here." That kind of sucks for story mode. Whereas if it was like in story mode, you could go in with the baseline gear for level 80 and use whatever current content to gear someone up to get them into the veteran mode or whatever you might be doing for progression. That's a way to go too. And I wouldn't necessarily mind that.
Enforcers is saying, well, it should be the hardest story mode. Okay, I can buy that. Let's say this operation is supposed to be currently the hardest story mode, and maybe not everyone is supposed to be able to experience. Okay, maybe that's the goal. But then,
But then don't
but
call it story
Duxon,
mode.
but Duxon and Gods never filtered back into the story mode world, right? Like they don't. They're still above a normal noob group without max gear.
Yeah, then I mean, if that's the case, then maybe don't call it story. Maybe call it it's not. It's just veteran and normal veteran and master or something, because story
Right.
makes it sound like I mean the whole
It makes
point
it
of
sound like
the
you go there for the story. Yeah.
yeah, this is part of the story. Oh, you're gonna want to hear this part of the story. It's important to the story that we're trying to tell, but you're not good enough, so you don't even get to hear the story. Sorry. And there will be
Yeah,
people that no
that
matter
sounds really bad when you put it that way.
yeah.
Like you're going to a movie and they stop you at the door. Sorry, you're not good enough at watching movies.
Right. Right.
You
Yeah.
can't come in here.
Um I mean, yeah, but then yeah, I get what you're going for there, Forster, and I don't I like that I like the idea of progression and progression of operations and getting gear and building it up and going to the next gear. Just don't make it story. Just then don't call that story. That's not story mode to me. Story mode is you're going in for the story and you want to be able to tell a cohesive story and you want to be able to experience that story no matter what sort of level of play or what kind of person you are or what what whatever kind of experience. If you're going in to just experience the story, let people experience the story.
I mean, and operations famously are the things that take the most effort to put together. Why would you want to eliminate a huge percentage of players from it?
Of the story mode.
Yeah.
You although you want to if you want to create some challenge content that only people that build up the gear can go and do, that's fine. That's fine. I
Yeah, it
hope
is
then
fine. It's
that
good.
in that case that there isn't there better not be a significant part of the Malgus storyline that is part of R4. It doesn't sound like there is. but there better not be. Because if that's the case, that you're learning some of the Malga story and people have to go to YouTube to see it and can't experience it in the game because they're sort of stuck at 320 with the way that they play, well, that would kind of stink. So we'll see. What else we got? Seema? Oh, no, it's me.
Oh,
I've just been ranting for a while. So
it feels like it should be
sound
my turn, right?
does feel
I
that
s-
way,
I
kind of,
st- I
shouldn't it?
started this rant, I feel like. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
This will be a quick one. Because we already sort of did it in the intro when we're talking about what we've been doing. To be clear, the Syndicate rep tokens will not drop after uh, uh, Tuesday. I
Tuesday.
worded that wrong. This Underworld Syndicate plans will no longer drop from enemies after Tuesday, and we will not have Galactic Season objectives to get Syndicate plans. The Caius Dinar turn-in person will remain on Nar Shaddaa, allowing players to turn in any remaining Underworld Syndicate plans after Tuesday, which means you will still be able to get rep tokens, which means you will still be able to turn in those rep tokens and still get to legend whatever rep you'll be able to get out of those, but you won't be able to get any more Shadow Syndicate plans. So this week is the last week. And remember, there's a cap of 200 in a week, so you can't like grind out 1,000 Syndicate rep plans this week. So that was part of the angst we were describing of, will we be able to even get enough to get legendary? Did we start enough ahead of time? And I guess we sort of haven't. I was saying it's a little bit frustrating to me because I did a lot. I played a lot. I played a lot throughout this whole Galactic season. I hit the Galactic season rank 100 by just through playing very early. I also did the achievement where I did 100 or whatever of the Galactic season objectives. And even in doing all of that, I didn't end up with enough Galactic season Underworld Syndicate plans. Maybe there was a couple times I was capped on Syndicate plans where I could have been turning them in. And maybe I burned a bunch and wasted them and didn't even realize. But it feels like there was just too many of these limits. The 5,000 rep a week limit on turning them in, 200 a week cap on you even earning them, 200 a week cap or 200 total cap on how many you could have in your currency tab. You start putting all of these caps together, and just this little piece of this Galactic season didn't work for me. So it is what it is, and I've resigned myself to probably not both. I'm certainly not getting the Chad Bane, the customization. I resigned myself to that weeks ago, and now I'm resigning myself to not getting legendary. I'm champion in that rep. It's good enough for me. Had fun, and not gonna make myself angry by trying to grind out a
Right.
whole bunch of stuff and maybe even coming up short in that. That's so fine.
And I mean, the people who were paying attention early on had no trouble getting
Yep.
it. So
Nope.
it wasn't difficult to do. It's just that
They didn't do something
I was not
wrong
focused
mechanically.
on it enough. Yeah. Yeah. And by the time it filtered through to me, it was too late.
Yes. Yes. And it wasn't front and center in how they described the event. I feel like with that many caps, if they were sort of like really designing it that way, I would have liked some headlines like, this one's going to be, hey, heads up, this is going to be a challenge and you're going to need to get ahead of it because this one's going to be hard to get. You're going to need to be turning in early and you got all these caps. We lowered the cap to 5,000. They put it in the patch notes, but it was just like in a long list of 5,000 things. And
it was in the guides and stuff. So that's what I mean. It's like if I had been paying attention. But I also didn't this is the first time that there's ever been this short of a deadline too for a rep. Like there's been times when
right.
there was going to be a rep was going to end because it's getting moved to a feat of strength or whatever. But we had months.
Yeah.
This was
And, yeah,
a
it was in the
short-lived rep.
guides and it was buried in the patch notes. But as you know, I was elected to lead, not to read. So that didn't work for me there.
Yes. Okay.
Now it's you. Now it's your turn.
Okay. So in-game events. So like right now we're doing the GRE event. So that's this week, June 28th to July 5th. After that, which is basically it's every 2 weeks. So after that's going to be the pirate incursion, then the bounty contract week, and we don't know when the nightlife is going to be, but we have heard that it is going to be.
Yep, we
So
have a post up
later,
from
later this summer.
Jackie commentary that somebody was sort of commenting in the forum, the official forums of, "Hey, is this thing discontinued, or are we never going to see it again?" And Jackie did confirm Nar Shaddaa event is not discontinued. Not sure where they received that info. Here to confirm it is coming back this year, and there will be some new rewards. We're just finalizing the details on timing, so we'll definitely post an update when we're ready to share that info. In fact, someone was saying that some of the pieces might even be showing up on the PTS already. I'm not,
Hmm.
I haven't seen it yet, but some of the Nar Shaddaa stuff might be showing up there, at least a couple of the starting pieces. Cool, cool. But it's not on this list for the in-game events for July, and that concerned me just a bit. Not concerned me, but makes me think that it's not going to be till August at the earliest.
And it, like last year, I don't think it went for as long as it has in previous years. Or was that just my imagination because time is weird?
But
So
no, wasn't last year's the whole summer? It was like the summer of we don't, I don't know. Don't ask us.
however
Don't
however
ask
long it
us.
is, don't listen to us. Yeah. It might be long or short and it's happening maybe later or sooner.
Yeah, don't ask us.
You heard it here,
You're gonna need
folks.
to find that information elsewhere. How about in community news? We mentioned it.
So yeah, we mentioned it, but this week an MFN BC has created for us like a treasure hunt evening. So you're going to need, if you want to come to MFN, which is 9 o'clock on Tuesdays, and anybody can come. It's on Starforge server, 9 p.m. Eastern. But you need to have already gotten your macro. Well, you need macro binoculars and seeker droids access for the treasure. I think we are going to talk early in the evening about how the easy way to get those.
Yep.
But it can't hurt to have them already.
And with that in mind, that's what we're going to do tonight as well. We'll show you exactly where to go on the fleet. You'll have it in video for those of us in the AIE Guild that want to do that with everyone on Tuesday night. If anyone else out there wants to join, anyone on Starforge, feel free. It's open. We love to have guests come in. We try to invite people. Last week, we invited like 2 or 3 random people to come kill world bosses with us because they just happen to be hanging out. We love that kind of thing. So come on, come all, 8 p.m. Central on Tuesday of next week. That is the 5th. That's the 5th. July 4th is Monday. So
Yeah.
Tuesday the 5th, and you will need the macro binoculars and the Seeker droid, but there'll be a little challenge, player-made challenge event, and I think there might even be prizes. So, and we'll give prizes to anybody and everybody. So come on, come join. And AIE-guild.org up in the upper right is our guild Discord. Jump in there too. Say hi. We'll get you in. You don't need to be in the guild. You don't need to get a guild invite. Anybody can come, anybody on Starforge. So, and once you're there, don't forget to check out, we've got a couple operations teams. We've got operations teams running half the nights of the week at least, if not most of the nights of the week. I think 2 of them, the Sunday night and the Monday night team, one's Republic and one's Imperial, could still use a permanent DPS in their to fill out their teams. And then all of our teams from time to time need subs. Jump in the Discord, say, "Hey, I don't play with you guys normally. I'm not even in your guild, but if you need a sub, call me. I'd love to come and do it." That's great too. Come and do that. That'd be awesome. And then one other thing coming up. Do you want to talk about the Flashpoint Friday, Seema?
Sure. So basically, Mailang runs on Friday nights. It's usually the first Friday of the month, but this week in July it's going to be the 15th. But it's the Flashpoint Friday. So if you are interested in Flashpoints, join us then. They sometimes will go after particular achievements, but it just kind of depends on who's there and what they need.
Yep. And shout out to the chat room. Thank you, everyone who's been in there. Everyone's been very helpful and extra chatty tonight. I'm glad that I've got my setup now where I can be watching the chat room and keeping an eye on it while I'm talking at the camera as well, because it's some good discussion. So we really appreciate everyone putting those comments in now. And we love catching up with everyone after the show as well. But now we should talk about the seeker droids and the Manaki binoculars. And that reminds me of this guy. that is Peej. Peej is part of the macro binocular line. That's where you encounter Peej in the game, and that's where you get to fight an Ortolan. Not only do you have to puzzle your way in through Peej's stronghold, but you actually get to battle Peej at the end. And I've dug up a video of some of the Peej fight that goes on, which is awesome and hilarious. Macro binoculars and seeker droids were introduced to the game in the Rise of the Hutt Cartel expansion. So this was a time in the game where the expansion was relatively big and it dropped all at once. It had some story, it had stuff on Makeb, and then they added these two things in almost as mini games side
Yeah.
side things.
They were new systems completely for Rise of the Hutt Cartel.
And they each have a little bit of a story associated with them as well. So we'll tell that story a little bit here too. Those tools, though, the Seeker Droid and the Macro binoculars, have been used elsewhere in some of the other expansions.
Mhm.
Usually not as extensively, but they have come up and they have been used elsewhere in some of the other things. They were used in.
And then in some daily quests and
Yep. They were used in Revan. You had to use the Seeker Droid to pull treasure stuff out of the ground. The Macro binoculars have been used. In fact, you can use the Macro binoculars in your Yavin stronghold to find a couple, to uncover a couple codex entries by using your Macro binoculars to look off into the distance. So yeah, they're out there and they're useful. I have them, like you can see right here. I've got them on my bar on my Vanguard just to always have them around because there are things that pop up every once in a while that you might just want to grab them and use them for. For Tuesday, you need to have them. You need to have the Seeker Droid and have the Macro binoculars. You don't need to have done the quest lines, but you'll need to pick up the initial quest line, and this is where you get them. There are a myriad of places where you can pick it up. The easiest is to do it right on the fleet. Because we'll be on the Republic side. Sorry, did I say that earlier for anyone that was going to come join us? Where it's going to be Republic side.
Oh yeah, I should have said that too.
But on the Republic fleet, at the north elevator or the up elevator, there's not really a north in space, is there? At the Cartel Bazaar elevator on the Republic fleet, the 12 o'clock on the clock elevator, there are two astromechs. One is, if you hover over it, if you have not done the quests yet, they'll have the little quest triangle over them. The M38Z droid is an astromech that gives you the macro binocular missions. And then over here next to the entry doorway is the BB6G droid, which gives you the Seeker Droid missions. Click on them, get your macro binoculars, get your Seeker Droids, put them on your bar so that you'll have access to them, and you are good to go for the event on Tuesday. So there's that. You can also get them on Makeb. You can get them on Coruscant, I believe. And someone also said Mek Shah, which I was surprised at, but sounds awesome. I love Mek Shah. Macro binoculars and Seeker Droids. Do you remember the quest lines, Seema? You remember how they?
I remember. Yeah, I remember. It used to be that you just did. You only had to do like a little bit of a beginning quest where you, on the pub side, you went to Coruscant and talked to a person there, and they had a mission for you to go and do some stuff. But in order to do the mission, you got your Seeker Droid and you got your. There's two different people. You got your macro binoculars, and then you have them and you can use them for whatever. But if you actually want to do the whole quest line, it's.
Oops, sorry. I did
it's
not mute.
They are pretty long, and
yeah,
the macro binocular one, that's in particular, has some pretty challenging stuff at the end where you need multiple people.
Yeah, both of them finish with a heroic 4, a little mission. The macro binocular one definitely requires. It's definitely not soloable because you need multiple people to. I think both of them are not soloable, even if you had a bunch of gear. Um, uh, and so they're kind of fun. The Seeker Droid, the whole story behind the Seeker Droid is tied to the Dread Seeds, and you can still find these areas on the various planets. If you've ever killed Lucky on Corellia, yeah. Lucky is in a zone which has been corrupted by these Dread Seeds. So you notice like all the weird corruption that's around in that area where Lucky is at on Corellia, and Lucky itself is corrupted by Dread Seeds. The story of the Seeker Droids is that you are chasing down these Dread Seeds. There's some intro, sort of like instancy kind of stuff where you're finding out that these Dread Seeds have been stolen. You're finding out the story of the Dread Seeds and these Sith Lords that are trying to use them for nefarious purposes. And then your job is to go adventure throughout the galaxy to be collecting these Dread Seeds. I've got here, in fact, I did pull a link. I pulled up some of these videos on YouTube as an example. So here's a Dread Seed area. This is on Tatooine, I believe. What you do at various points is you are asked to go to these Dread Seed areas, use the Seeker Droid to find the Dread Seed that is corrupting this area. So you can see this person has got the Seeker Droid, is targeting an area on the ground, dropping this, clicking the Seeker Droid thing on the bar. The Seeker Droid drops down, drops its claw. It's one of those claw games. Drops the claw into the water and tries to find the Dread Seed. And there you can see it just picked one up. If it does not find the Dread Seed, it will either show you a red circle, a yellow circle, or a green circle, depending on how far away you are for where the Dread Seed might be. The Dread Seed locations are not fixed, so you can't just like look up on a guide where the Dread Seeds are for if you're actually doing the mission, which is kind of fun. There are also these corrupted beasts around, so you got to dodge them and look out for them. Like, look at this. Look at that corrupted bug beast. It looked really cool. There's also, do you remember these, Seema? There are tokens you can buy that make the detection of where.
Oh yeah.
They up the accuracy of finding of homing in on where the Dread Seed's at. When you drop the Dread Seed claw into the ground, if it's yellow, for example, it will also have an area, a part of the circle that it put on the ground, the telegraph, that points in a general direction where it thinks you should be headed next to get a little bit closer. So it's like a hot, cold, point you in the right direction, give you some hints as you go along. Let me see if I can, if this video shows somebody. I think this is where they're going to find the seed. You also can't use the Seeker Droid until you get into an area where the Seeker Droid becomes active. So the red text pops up on your screen. You may have seen this just running around various planets. Your Seeker Droid detects something in this area. There, pop the Seeker Droid into the area. It's a yellow. This means yellow, so it's close. But where this person put the Seeker Droid, you couldn't see the circle. There's a little extra bar on the circle telegraph on the ground that points you in the general direction for where you end up needing to go. So then you can walk a little bit off into that area where it's kind of pointing, get a little bit closer, get closer, and you grab it and you get it. So you can't help anyone find the Dread Seeds with your Seeker Droid, but there are other things out in the world that you can find with the Seeker Droid, even if you've completed the missions. There is a long mission to dig up speeder parts for the what is it called?
The Pleasure Speeder?
Is it the Pleasure Speeder? All I know is the Pleasure Speeder music transceiver, which is the item that drops from killing Taboro's courtyard, from completing Taboro's courtyard. And everyone has 500 of those, and none of the other pieces, which you need to
Right.
dig up with the secret droid.
Right. Right.
But if you run around, if you're just like running around on McKeb, you'll see that that red message pop up that says, "Hey, there's your secret droid detects something," um, and that's what it's telling you is that's probably one of those like speeder parts that might be in that area, or you might dig up something else out of the ground that's a little prize that you can get. Um, so that's secret droid. So I don't know what we're going to be digging up on Tuesday, and hopefully we can maybe dig up some pleasure speeder parts. You can also buy some of those parts off the GTN, I believe. So if you ever did actually want to complete that, you can complete that as well. But yeah, Secret Droid is kind of cool. And ooh, I don't know if I'm giving away a hint or a pro tip, but getting some of those items which increase the accuracy of the Secret Droid detection. I don't know if we're gonna want those in our back pocket for Tuesday. I might grab a couple just to be
Mm.
sneaky.
Yep, that's crafty.
Sneaky, Seema. You got to be sneaky. Hey, you have Chad Bane.
Well, yeah, Fenzale. I mean, I don't have the. I
Um,
do. I do.
I call him Chad Bane still, even without the customization.
Gotcha.
Uh,
I have him out too because I was probably doing something with him.
right. Got to have him out for 200 kills for some of the Galactic season objectives. We were doing that last week. I don't think you have to do that this week. But you had to do it last week. Okay, so that's Secret Droid. I think even slightly more interesting. Although I liked the Secret Droid line, I liked the. I think the Secret Droid one also starts with an instance where you're chasing through uh, a Sith uh, a Sith stronghold that's filled with a whole bunch of relics and treasures, like a space station that like belonged to the Emperor. I believe so, and I believe that's where the Dread Seeds get stolen from. And that is a cool place and has some Easter eggs in it, including a tank which in theory holds or did hold the original specimen for the first Rakul Plague release. So that is a cool way to kick it off. Then you go through the adventure to find all the Dread Seeds, and then you get to the Heroic Four at the end, where you need to go and confront these masters, these Sith Lords that and kill them to keep them away from whatever they're doing with the final Dread Seeds or whatever. The Macrobinocular line I liked even more. Do you remember the story of the Macrobinocular line, Seema? Like, do you want to tell
That
the
is
story?
a.
Am I telling a story?
No, 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 no. I don't want to tell the story. Tell me the story, Max.
So the Macrobinocular line is where we got one of the most detailed experiences interacting with the Shroud. What we're doing with the Macrobinocular is we're tracking down a bunch of detector signals and broadcast signals that are spying on the galaxy and collecting information for the Shroud. So it's a whole Shroud quest line. The Shroud has minions that are helping with various parts of the whole line, and you start by being introduced to here's what's going on, and we're trying to track this Shroud person down, and there's all of these spy ports, and you're going to triangulate all the locations and put the clues together, and it's very puzzle based as you go along. The puzzles of a couple of the places that you need to get through and get into are very cool. Like here's an example in this video where in order to get through all of the maze and the force fields, is it in this one or is it in the next one? As you get into an area, in order to figure out how to get out of that area, you need to use the macrobinoculars to scan the room and find like, oh, wait, there's that pipe is lighting up and my macrobinoculars are zooming in on it and it seems like something's going on there. I need to shoot that thing or click this thing, or you need to solve the puzzle by using the macrobinoculars to uncover and detect what's up and what's going on and how you get through to the next phase. So here in this scene, you can see I'm in a room. There's ads coming into the room. There's these weird electrified sides on the sides. And then there's this force field blocking me off, and you can see Peach on the other side of the force field there. He's the antagonist of this little stronghold, taunting us, saying, "You can't get me." You use the Mac binoculars to figure out how to get through and get him. Very cool story, because it's that fun story stuff that's going on. Peach is a cool little character, so you can see that this streamer here is using the Mac binoculars to try to figure out what needs to be activated. Oh, I see a vent up there. I'm going to shoot that vent to try to figure out if that's what I'm supposed to do next. That shut down whatever I was supposed to shut down, and now allows me to click the panel, and maybe now I can get through, etc., etc. I like it because it's puzzles. So this is one of those kind of puzzly things, and I wish they had done more of these in the game. They sort of got away from it. There's a little bit of puzzle stuff in every area. So they were able to shut down the coolant vent, activate the console, and now they got through the force field. So very, very puzzle based. Another puzzle based example of this kind of thing, which I love in the game, is the Theoretica, which is part of the HK 51 line, where you're trying to get HK 51. Very puzzle based. The story is almost incidental, and like here you have to do some fighting, but the puzzle parts are the most fun parts of it. So I really like that. I like that kind of thing, and I wish there was more. You do also uncover more of the story of the Shroud here. It is not the end of the story of the Shroud. You might think it's the end by this. Spoilers. There's more Shroud stuff that maybe comes back at some point and sort of does ultimately resolve the story of the Shroud later on. Which expansion was that from? Where we get that? That's
Oh my gosh.
Knights of the Eternal Throne.
I think you're right.
Yeah, that's where that comes up. So Shroud continuing on. So the Shroud starts. The first time we ever hear of the Shroud, I believe, is in the Imperial Agent storyline. This is a whole Shroud episode that everyone can play, and then it's either Fallen Empire or Eternal Throne. We encounter the Shroud again. I think it's Eternal Throne. We encounter the Shroud again, and then if you ever got it, there's even a bonus chapter that you can get to that kind of resolves all of the Shroud stuff once and for all. Super cool. I like the Shroud. I like the Shroud story. It was kind of one of those villains, non-force power, no magic going on, a tech villain behind the scenes, pulling strings, very well aligned with like the smuggler story and the agent story, that kind of thing, where their ability to tell a story that's not force-based, that's not magic swords and magic powers and lightning's coming out of our fingers, which we love too, but telling that within the Star Wars universe, the tech-based stories is cool. I like it. So here you can see the person still trying to figure out the puzzles, and it's complicated. It is not simple. So if you're looking here, you're looking at the wall. There's 3 pipes. You see 3 pipes coming out of that panel, 3 conduits, a yellow conduit, a green conduit, and a red conduit. You need to figure out which of those conduits go to which consoles in this next area by, again, using your Mac binoculars to look into the next room and try to narrow down what you're supposed to be doing when, connect all the pieces, figure out what's going and what's connected to what. It even gets slightly more complicated in the last area, and I'm going to try not to sort of give it away. You're going to figure it out anyway. But you can see there's this locked-in final door, and you use a system of cryo chambers to somehow get into that final stronghold door. And here we go. Because you're able to freeze the door, make it brittle enough that you can break through, and when you break through, who do you get to fight at the very end, Seema?
I don't remember. Oh. He's a little jerk, but I don't want to fight him.
An Ortolan with a big gun. So there you go. Ortolan with a big gun. Oh, I see someone in the chat room is asking for a guild invite. We would love to have that, Eric. But as you can see, I'm also watching our view of Peach here. Yeah. So he's got this cool cryo gun. He's running around. He's a little Ortolan. He talks to you through this whole thing, but this is his voice. So he's doing this through the whole thing. You get in the subcaptions of what he's saying. I want more Peach. I wish we didn't fight Peach. I want wicked Peach as an antagonist running around the rest of the game, or give us more Ortolans, or more Ortolan characters in general. I think that'd be
Ortolan
hilarious.
playable race.
Ortolan playable race. There we go. That's coming. Confirmed. SEMA just confirmed it for us all. So got that going for us.
It's been on my wish list a few years.
It has. Spoiler, Peach just got murdered there. So there's that. But that's not the end of the story. That's the end of this part of the story and this stronghold and these puzzles. Then you go on and you do actually confront the shroud, or what you think is the shroud, at the end of this line. The very last part of this also is very iconic. I wonder if we have a scene of it here. I think I do have a link here. Very iconic heroic 4 in this part of the heroic 4 at the end of the macrobinocular line. This is something you probably remember from episode 2, Star Wars episode 2, when Anakin jumps off the speeder onto the other moving speeders as they're flying around on Coruscant. That's where they're flying around. Yeah, it's on Coruscant. You get to do that. You get to run around and jump across moving traffic, and figure out your way to get around all the moving traffic in this heroic 4 on Coruscant while the speeders are all moving around.
And it's possible to fall off. It's not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's not
definitely.
guaranteed.
And out of your group of 4, there's a couple checkpoints along the way. Only one person needs to be able to make it to that to that checkpoint, and then everyone else can respawn there if they fall off. So not everyone has to make all of these jumps, because it's not just platforming jump to jump. If you look closely here, all of the speeders are also moving. They're moving in relation to each other. They're like moving up and down. So you have to like wait till one is like close enough to you in space, or moving up and down, or it comes down low enough that you can jump on it. Like here, the player can't jump on it yet because it's moving up. You'll never make that jump. So you got to wait for it to come down and line up and get your way across. A few different checkpoints along the way, and you get through all the traffic. Super cool, super iconic. It's a fun one. I'm really glad that they put it in. Somebody was really clever in thinking about doing it. I like these really iconic Star Warsy things. We've got some of the original trilogy stuff that's just so awesome with Hoth and with Tatooine. This was a great callback to Star Wars Episode 2. That I loved seeing it and loving having it done. You get through this, and this is at the end of this instance is where you're confronting the shroud. But this is not a trivial part. This is a significant part. In fact, I think there's a couple points in here at some of these checkpoints where you have to fight mobs as well. There's ads. They end up fighting. Yeah, I think they'll get onto this barge in the middle of the traffic and end up having to fight some ads. So if the rest of your group doesn't make it, you might be alone here fighting some of the ads that show up. Let's see if the ads spawn. This is just the point where he has to fight I think it's the mini boss in the middle. This is not the end boss. But yeah, so cool stuff. Complete it. When you complete either of the quest lines, Macrobinoculars or Seeker Droid, you get to keep the device, remember. So I still have them on my bar, and as I said, you do use them in later content. You do use the Macrobinoculars in a bunch of places. You use them for doing dailies on Yavin. You still have to pull them out and use them to do the daily to find the place where you're supposed to shoot for that one daily over by the temple. Secret Droid you don't use all that often, but it does come up every once in a while. Macro binoculars you use quite a bit more often still, even to this day. Fun stuff. And for anyone that's going to be joining our guild on Tuesday night, this is the place on the fleet where you can get them. Oh, here, I'll hit M on the map here again. Right here at 12 o'clock on the fleet by the Cartel Bazaar elevator. There's the 2 astromechs. Click on those astromechs. Get the GSI missions, because that was part of that expansion. The GSI missions used a lot. Thank you, Machete. But yeah, here on the fleet, pick them up, pick up the 2 devices. You'll be ready to go for Tuesday. Come join us. We would love to have you. 8 p.m. Tuesday on Starforge on the Republic side. Jump in our guild Discord, aie-guild.org. The Discord link is in the upper right. And now I've mostly done the closeout to the show. Anything else before we shut it down for the
No,
evening?
just come and join us on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Treasure hunt time.
All right. With that, EPC 430 is ready to get kicked out on airlock to broadcast this episode to everyone out there. To keep from missing out, subscribe to New Overlords on YouTube and iTunes. And especially, we would love for you to subscribe to the new show, Behind the Games. And if you want the tech podcast, that's on nexivise.com. You can look that one up too. My 3rd podcast. You can find all the links to everything on New Overlords for this show and for Behind the Games. You can follow me on Twitter for when things go live at Max the Gray, and I'll keep you up to date. We do now have a Facebook page as well, Facebook/New Overlords. Our YouTube channel is YouTube/New Overlords. You can see a theme here. That's how you get to us. For our guild, AIE Aleacta Est, you can find our guild on Starforge. You can also get into our guild Discord, as I said, at aie-guild.org. Get into the Discord link is in the upper right. We have guilds on both the Republic and the Imperial side. We have operations teams on both sides, and we have fun events like what we've been describing for Tuesday night. We would love to have you, and we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.
Press the wrong button. Later, everyone.